big hair, big boobs, and a big heart. Jamie?
Yeah.
Let's go watch a Smoky Mountain Christmas. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Good Times, Great Movies. I am one of your two hosts. My name is Doug McCambridge, and joining me from the Smoky Mountains, I'm going to say you live in the mountains, right?
Well, I'm not far from them, but I'm not in the mountains. No.
Jamie Lorello.
It's a different part of the state. Hello, and happy holidays.
Did this movie, first of all, before we get into the movie,
Yeah.
let's talk about the movie.
Okay.
Did this movie speak to you? Was it personal to you, going from, I'm going to say, hell on earth, LA, to Tennessee, the greatest state on planet Earth, I'm assuming?
Well done. Well, yeah. Well, yes, that's why I was excited about this movie, because A Smoky Mountain Christmas sounded not only right up my alley, but literally right down my street. Well, not literally right down my street, but it did. It felt, I was excited for the homey feeling and I can't say I was completely disappointed.
I did not know what was going to happen. And when it opened in LA, I thought, this is odd. And then immediately I went, Jamie must be digging this. Like, the only thing it was missing was just like a prologue where she grew up in the Poconos or something like that. And I was like, wow, this could be Jamie's life story about how she adopted a family of red-haired kids and a black child.
Named String Bean.
String Bean. Oh, my God. All right. Well, wait a second. Before we get in, can I just do all the housekeeping here at the beginning?
Yeah, why don't you
I think there are some things that we should talk about. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, I have a few plugs.
Plug it out.
My first plug is us. Can I plug us on our own podcast?
You're supposed to,
Only
right?
because we've been talking about giving us star ratings. And
yeah.
I understand. Nobody wants to go to iTunes. Nobody wants to click on stars.
It's a hassle.
It helps us get listed higher. Like, I went into iTunes one day and I was like, let me just find our podcast.
Yeah.
So I typed in Good Times and hit return. We're like the 15th podcast listed when you just type in Good Times. And we're listed behind podcasts that don't even have good or times in their name. And there's no podcast about the TV show Good Times either.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, wow, are there a lot of like Good Times podcasts?
Yeah, no, there's nothing. But we did have someone that follows us on Facebook did tell us that he left us a star rating. So I thought that was really nice.
Oh, that was very nice.
So his name is Rod Penaflor. I'm saying that correctly. And I just thought he was so nice to let us know that I was like, oh, well, I'll just say this dude's name on our podcast.
Let's say it. Let's give him a shout out.
And I'll say nice things about him, even though I've never met him or seen a picture. But let's say he has the soulful eyes of a basset hound, and he makes a great lasagna. So thanks, Rod. We really appreciate that. So if you want me to say insanely odd things about you on our podcast,
by all means,
give us a star rating and tell us that you did.
Yes.
So beyond us, I think us little podcasts should stick together, look out for each other.
Why not?
You know, I could plug something like the Flophouse, but they don't need our, well, I guess I just did, but they don't need us.
No.
But there's other podcasts that do. First of all, our friends over at Gotta Love the Goot.
Yeah. The Goots, I love them.
I was painting my bathroom, a little peek behind the curtain as to how my life is.
How tantalizing, yes.
So I was listening to an episode they did, and they did Short Circuit.
Oh, great one. Great movie.
It made me think, we got to do Short Circuit.
Of course we do.
At some point, we have to work this in, because just for the Who's Johnny El DeBarge song, just so I can listen to that, so I have an excuse to listen to that song over and over again.
Oh, so I have an excuse to see Johnny 5 over and over again is fine for me.
And the very racist Indian Fisher Stevens. They put him in brown face. Can it be called brown face?
I think it can. I think it can.
It's terrible. And I'm sure it's highly offensive. But there's also one other podcast I wanted to plug. It's called Cinema Gadfly. Oh. It's by a guy named Arik Devens. And the concept is neat. Every month he makes a friend of his watch an old classic, sometimes foreign movie. Oh. And then his friend gets to pick a movie
that he has to watch. Oh, that's fun.
And they give them equal time. Like, the very first episode was great because I think he picked, like, a British film from the 40s for his friend. And so his friend picked, like, a Katy Perry documentary for him to watch.
I like the juxtaposition. Nice.
It's a very fun concept, and it's quick. Like, every episode's, like, 20 to 30 minutes, which is great. So
Groovy, nice.
Plugs out of the way. Let's move on to nearly shirtless dudes to open this movie. But you can start us out because the opening of this blew my mind.
Let's go up the mountain, shall we? To Smoky Mountain Christmas. A film made in 1986, I believe, correct?
Yes.
Yes, and if you could believe it, directed by Henry Winkler. Did you note that? Did you see that?
I noted it?
Yes.
I could not believe it. But once it ended, I kind of thought, that makes sense.
It feels a Henry Winkler vibe. Yeah, it does.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it does.
If Fonz was going to direct a film, that's the only thing that might make sense about this movie is that the Fonz directed it.
Well, and Dolly was, I think, story by, several other people were story by, but Dolly actually took, which I can totally see. Because it also felt like it was a piece of Dolly expressing herself at the time in her career.
This reeks of Dolly Parton.
Oh.
It really seems like she came in with this idea, and she's like, listen, Henry, I think you should direct this movie. I've been writing it for a while now. It's only 3 pages.
I have to tell you that your Dolly Parton impersonation...
You like that?
Just blew my socks off.
Thanks. Oh, if I could say something before we get into this.
Please.
One person said it on Twitter or something like that, how they loved how in the last episode I told our audience not to listen to this episode.
You know what? We'll be bold. We'll be bold like that.
Yeah, exactly. But audience, if you have not yet watched this movie, just hit pause right now. I don't want to ruin this movie for you. I don't want to ruin this experience. If you have not watched it, and especially if you don't even know what it's about, which I didn't going in, did you?
No, I'd never seen it. No.
If you don't know anything about this, hit pause, go to YouTube, type it in, find it. It's easy to find, and watch this because your head will explode. It is crazy.
Have a hot cocoa and a little bit of whiskey. Just my advice. My advice.
Exactly.
And it'll help make the journey even better up the mountain. We don't start in the Smokies, however. We start, and literally, though, like the opening credits are like a storybook start. It's like telling the story because was this a TV movie? Because it felt like there were commercial breaks. It was a TV movie.
Did you forget that all month we're doing TV movies?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry, I put
and that it was your idea?
Hey, I like to be spontaneous like that. Okay. So, yes. It's got a very storybook credit start feel. And then we're all of a sudden behind the scenes in a Hollywood, the making of a music video where it's Dolly. And you're right, a lot of shirtless, dancing, thrusting men.
What? Oh, they're not shirtless. They're not, are they called wife beaters? Can you say men wear tank tops? Is that a...
I think if a man wears a tank top, then it's a wife beater.
Okay.
If he wears a tank top, then he essentially probably beats his wife.
Right. Yeah, I get a different visual when I think of wife beater and tank top. So there's no mustard stains on these guys' shirts or anything like that.
No.
Right. But each guy's wearing a different colored tank top, and these dudes are super muscular.
They got some dance
smiley.
moves. They got some kind of dance moves. I mean, they are like 5, 6, 7. They've got those moves.
Do you know who gave them those moves?
I'm assuming Dolly.
Boy, I'd love to just tell you, but who was the famous singer who sang a song about having sex with a cartoon cat named MC Scat Cat.
Did Paula Abdul do the choreography?
Paula Abdul did the choreography.
She did? I didn't see that.
She listed as the choreographer for this movie.
Well, no wonder their moves are so slick and hot.
Right.
Paula.
Since there is no other dance sequence in this film, I assume.
Well, they really take it to heart then, because although does Dolly dance? No, I guess you really can't call anything Dolly does. She glides, more or less, with her guitar.
She glides. She's an angel. But these guys, don't they pick her up and like carry her around?
Yes, that's when she gets fed up with it. Yes.
Right.
It's like it's a very steamy shoot. It's indoors on set and
it is the rockinest, 80s-ist country music.
Yes, and she is all Dolly in it. You forget when you first see Dolly, you forget how Dolly is, right? With the hair.
Her waist is insanely
It's
tiny.
negative. It is a negative size. It is irrationally small, especially in comparison.
Can we just say that she looks fantastic through this movie? Like, she looks amazing in this film. It is Dolly at her dolliest. This is mid-80s Dolly, which is great.
Yeah. And she shines. She glows.
Yeah, her hair just gets larger as the movie goes.
And those curls don't quit.
Her fingernails are insane.
And they always looked so manicured.
She's playing guitar at one point. I don't know how it's happening. Well, I understand how it's happening.
She's writing music. Oh, it's a beautiful... Okay. So obviously, if you're a Dolly fan and you haven't seen this movie, shame on you.
Exactly. Kill yourself right now.
Right, because you are truly no fan.
No, go watch it. Don't kill yourself. It's not worth it.
Watch it first.
Don't kill yourself over having not seen A Smoky Mountain Christmas, because it's easy to watch.
Because it is. It's YouTubeable. Oh, okay. So we're doing this video, this very not classy, I guess, 80s
my God,
video.
It wasn't classy.
Classy was the wrong word. It just kind of slipped out. Dolly wants to make it classy, though. She wants to make it country. She wants this video to be shot. Right. She wants an outdoor scene. She gets a little divalicious because she pulls her managers and her manager, her agent in, and she's like, you know what? If we can't do an outdoor one, then we're not doing a video at all. We're not doing this video at all. No video, right? She decides, and they cancel.
I like that her manager didn't try and argue with her or anything. No. Her manager turned to the director, and he's like, shut it down, dude.
Yeah, we are donesies.
We are not doing this video today. That's it.
Which is a big bummer for, the production staff, who we got to see behind the scenes all the hard work that they were doing.
Yeah, a fog machine and 5 dancers. I don't know the production values of this, but...
It was intense for the time. It was hot for the 80s. We also are now introduced to the paparazzi guy, the creepy paparazzo that's following her around.
Yes, played by Dan Hedaya.
Yes.
Who's in a ton of stuff. I mean, he's just, everybody knows him. He's all over the place. But I think his name is Harry, his character's name.
I'll say Harry. Yeah, I'll agree to that. I'm not for sure.
You'll see Harry and raise me what? A Carla from Cheers? Because I think he was her husband, right? Was he her husband on Cheers?
Yes, he was her husband in Cheers.
Or was it Danny DeVito? I literally did almost say Danny DeVito.
That's why I stopped you, pal.
Wasn't he her fictitious husband, Danny DeVito?
No, well, he is the typical paparazzi with the little small camera around his neck and trying to get the scoop on the old Lorna. What's her name? Lorna, right?
Lorna, whatever. Yeah, her name's Dolly Parton. Let's just call her Dolly Parton.
Yeah, we'll call her Dolly, but yeah. But I wondered, what's Dolly's real name? Is Dolly Parton's real name Dolly? Because I wondered if her real name maybe was Lorna.
I did not do that research.
And since she wrote the story, maybe she called herself, I don't know. That is a little far-fetched, but we do get to see like an insight into her kind of LA life, where she's sitting on her fancy pink bed and her pink PJs, and she's trying to write a little song, and she really is having a hard time of it. The song is not coming natural, and it's mostly because she feels like, this Hollywood scene is just kind of getting old on her. She's a little overwhelmed, and you're right.
It's the worst fake songwriting, because it's just she's got about 3 words that make sense, and then she just puts in garbage can, which doesn't mean anything. It's just the worst fake songwriting ever.
Let's be real here. Dolly is a doll through this movie. She looks fabulous. She is sweeter than pie, but I wouldn't say that she's winning the Academy Award.
Show, so don't worry about that.
Well, I want to say I don't think she's winning like an Academy Award for her performance.
Oh, she is a terrible actress. I said nothing about her performance at all. Okay, I just said she looks great in this movie.
And I'll attest to that. I do agree.
Her line delivery is insane at some points because of that accent, which I assume she's ratcheting up her southern accent in the film.
I didn't know if it was her accent or her nails that got in the way of the line delivery. Because sometimes
it's her hair. Her hair was crazy through the whole movie.
And you're right, it did grow. Well, so at her home, she lives alone in her Los Angeles estate, except for her housemaid guy.
She has a butler, an English butler.
Vernon, who isn't he?
Is his name? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
She calls him once because, when the paparazzi guy breaks in, we'll get there. But isn't he? He's somebody else's butler. He was in Arthur. Isn't he Arthur's butler? The Dudley Moore movie?
I don't know. I wish I would have looked that up.
Well, he suits it. You've seen him in the role of a butler in something else. I do believe. So the paparazzi comes and breaks into her house where she does have several attack dogs ready to get him. She invites him inside and then calls Vernon and is like, get this man out of here.
It's like she knew her dogs were going to kill this guy and she didn't want that to happen.
Yeah.
So she actually helps him in the window.
Yes.
And then calls her butler to call the police to throw this dude out.
And he literally takes like a handkerchief and picks him up to take him out. And then, I missed the part where when she's writing the song on the bed, and she just has she makes a phone call, and she calls some friend, cousin, relative, somebody of hers.
It's her sister, I believe.
Okay, and about the cabin that her sister has in the Smokies, and that she just needs some time away, and she just wants to come up onto the cabin.
And she's wearing these this pink gown robe thing,
pajamas.
But it has pockets and fringe and feathers, and it's so insane in this movie. But so she wants to go. She just wants to get away from it all.
Yeah, she needs to leave the LA life.
I mean, I would say that she's in hell. She is in hell, and she needs to go to heaven.
She needs to. I think that's.
I like how she says she wants to shoot the video outside. Can't we get this outside? Can't we have real snow? No, you're in L.A. You cannot do that. It just doesn't happen.
No, it's not going to happen for you, Dolly. And when it doesn't, she finds it. She leaves. She doesn't tell anybody where she's going, right?
Oh, did you say that Dan Hedaya found the her writings of where she was going to go?
Oh, that's right.
She scribbled down that she was going... I guess she must have written the town's name or something like that.
Right.
You can't just write Smoky Mountains down and a guy finds you, right?
Well, he is that good. He is kind of good.
He is good. He got onto the set of that video somehow.
Yeah.
It was like up in the scaffolding.
She jots down where she's going and leaves that, but doesn't tell the butler, tells nobody else.
She leaves and... There's a broken window, and it really confused me because she went, "Oh, sorry, Vernon." And I'm like, "Wait, what's happening?" She's not telling the butler that the window's been broken?
No.
She's just sneaking away, which sounds ridiculous.
Well, it sounds just right.
Goes nowhere.
Well, it leaves it where she's just but it really doesn't go anywhere because it's supposedly now you're supposed to believe that everyone is looking for this missing country star.
It's so great, but we'll get there because now she does voiceovers every now and then in this early on. Did you know?
Oh, yes, where she's telling the story.
She's like,
yes,
me and my sister, we haven't been here in so long. This town isn't like it was when I grew up, and it's just her driving a beat up truck.
Your southern accent is...
It's spot on. It's as good as my British accent. Is that what you were going to say?
It's ridiculous. Okay.
It's not my southern accent. This is my interpretation of Dolly Parton's southern accent.
Okay, fair enough. So she weaves us parts of the tale, and part of the tale is where she's in the truck The truck that hugs the road like it's known it forever.
Whose truck
right?
is this? Whose truck is this?
Somebody left the truck for her. Where they left it, I guess at the airport.
They explained this?
Yeah. She said they left the old truck.
Yeah.
And they said that. And that's where she's driving this cool red little truck up the mountain. But she gets pulled over for what? I'm not sure. Because she doesn't seem to be speeding.
For being
attractive.
Cute.
Yeah, for being attractive. Because he literally is like, well, who's driving? And she's got her sunglasses on because she doesn't want to be recognized. But she's got the big hair and the nails and...
Like, her eyes are going to make her recognizable. Yeah. She's got enormous boobs and giant hair and a ridiculous accent and huge fingernails. So she covers her eyes with, like, these big Jackie Onassis glasses.
And he kind of tries to flirt with her, this town sheriff, right? She's having none of it. She just wants to get up the mountain if she's not hurting anybody. The town sheriff
reminded me of... For a while, I thought he was one of the Dukes of Hazzard guys, the blonde one. Bo or Luke?
I think that one is Luke.
Luke Duke? Oh, my God. Ridiculous. Yeah, but I don't think it is. But anyway, that's who he reminded me of. Yeah, and he's really into her.
Yeah.
She's not reciprocating. She lies to him about her identity, which I thought was really weird.
Well, because she's trying to hide out. She doesn't want anybody to know.
Like, he's a cop. Like, the first thing you would assume at some point he's going to ask you for license and registration.
He's a local sheriff, and she's from those parts.
Oh, you know what?
So she knows.
You're from those parts.
Yeah.
So you must know.
Yes.
All right. I'm not going to argue with you about this one.
Okay, good. What I haven't seen in these parts, because I'm not quite in the Smoky Mountains, is these mountain folk, these magical mountain folk.
Mountain witches?
Yes, that we are introduced to. This part gets weird. Okay, so this first part of the...
weird. That's an understatement. I didn't know that this was going to be a telling of Snow White with Dolly Parton. I did not know that that's what this movie was. And that there's a magical evil witch.
Jezebel. Jezebel is her name. And she is dressed all in black with...
She's on a horse.
Yeah, a magical horse. And she's in love with the sheriff, apparently. She thinks the sheriff is the man for her. And her whole basis for hating Dolly is because she's flirting with her man. Which I didn't see any flirting on Dolly's behalf.
This is the biggest shoehorned in plot I've ever seen. There is no reason she should want to basically murder Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
Except that the sheriff, who I guess it's implied that he and the witch
kind of have a thing.
Had a thing, right? Because he's totally done with it. He's over her. He says several times, like, "Oh, it's over. We're done." Da 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 da.
But she's a witch. Witches don't
forget. She's a witch. There's a witch in this movie. Oh my God, it's so crazy. And she like threatens him, and then he gets in his car and it won't start because she has magical powers to make it not start.
So yeah, we are introduced to the witch, we're introduced to the sheriff as Dolly makes her way up the mountain to her magical cottage retreat. In between here, we find out that we got to check in with the investigation that's going on in L.A., where now they think that there's...
For the only time in this movie, do we check in with
this is the only time that we...
This could have been the plot of this movie, but they drop it immediately.
Yeah. Well, the only time is they kind of keep, like, when the paparazzi guy keeps coming around. He's like, have you seen this lady?
Well,
but
that's fine because he is there.
Right. But we don't have any check-ins with L.A. Yeah, no.
But we go back to L.A. for a good 2.5 minutes, probably.
Just to let us know she's on the loose, essentially.
They believe that she's been kidnapped. Because she didn't tell her butler she's leaving.
Right. The window was broken.
Where her manager or her butler says something like, "Let's go to her closet. She has lots of clothes. If she left, she must have taken them." And they all go there, and he goes, "I don't know if anything's missing." She has
so many clothes. Yeah, it's the police officer that's like, "Well, let's see what's missing from her closet." And the butler's like, "I honestly couldn't tell you if anything was missing. It's so many things."
I also love how the one cop grabs a piece of sheet music and says, "Chief, can I take this?" And he's "To Justin for Prince." And he goes, "No, as a souvenir." That is insanely unprofessional. Like, I would almost expect that from the Smoky Mountain Police, but
Right,
this guy's
right.
an L.A. police detective, and he wants to take a piece of sheet music.
But this is a hot country music star, and she is missing, and you're in her
And
place.
again, this is now totally dropped from this film.
Yes, no more. We see it no more.
No, we never see the butler again. I don't think we ever see her agent again. We
No,
never
but-
see these police looking for her again.
But we do stumble upon the most magical part of, or place, location.
I was going to say, I can't pick a most magical part about this movie. The whole thing is magical.
It's true. Now Dolly arrives at this cottage, and it is a little picturesque wooded cottage where there's some squirrel soup on the stove and a fire's been lit, and she is just ready. She sleeps. She's so excited to be at this retreat, and she sneaks into the bed and she curls up, and her hair is just perfect. She doesn't even lay down. She just kind of sits back just gently.
It's like her own pillow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And now
it literally is Snow White. I mean, she
Yes.
falls asleep and wakes up to 7 dwarfs.
one of which, okay, here's a little PS. Do you remember that movie Hug-a-Bunch, or the TV show Hug-a-Bunch that I made you write?
Savoir
Savoir
Faire?
Faire, yes! The little girl in Hug-a-Bunch is one of the girls in this
And
in
I
this
never
entourage
knew
of
that
children.
because I was going to make a Hug-a-Bunch reference, which 0% of our audience understands right now.
Well,
okay.
they should get to know it.
Well, at least 30% of our audience knows who the Hug-a-Bunch are, but probably aren't familiar with the Hug-a-Bunch TV movie where Savoir Faire is uttered by a puppet. But she's also the little girl in the movie The Monster Squad. I don't know if you remember that movie.
Oh, yeah,
where kids fight
you're
Dracula
right.
and stuff.
Yeah,
but she's the little girl in that too.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you recognize the little red-haired boy, right?
I did, but from what?
He was the red-haired kid who was in Late Into Different Strokes.
Oh,
Remember, he always used
yes.
to say, Mr. D, and he had that weird, affect to his voice. And he was
yeah.
also Budnick from Salute Your Shorts. Do you remember
Oh,
that
yeah,
show?
yeah. I knew he had a familiar face, yeah. The rest of them, not so much. There is a slew of 7 children, and they all wake her up, and literally I think one of them is like, she's an angel.
Yeah.
Because she is dressed in all white, and she looks so beautiful, and
She's Dolly Parton. She looks like an angel.
And these children are orphans, and they're in this cabin, and they are hiding out, and now they've discovered her. And she's just so charming.
She's so
and
nice,
sweet.
but
Yeah.
also kind of stupid, I think. Like, she makes a deal with these kids that I won't go tell the police about you kids till after Christmas. Like, is that a deal you can make with feral children? Like, can you just... Well, I mean, they're on their own. They've clearly taken this cabin and made it into their own little clubhouse. They don't have parents. She doesn't know where they come from, but she's more than happy to not tell the authorities until after the holiday.
I like when she asks, okay, so all the kids, one of them has red hair, one of them, it's like
Oh, yeah,
the
we're
typical
introduced
lineup.
to Happy, Sleepy, Dopey, all of them.
Yes, one of them's a chubby kid, and one of them is an African-American kid, and at some point, whose name is String Bean, which is hilarious, at some point in the movie she goes, now, String Bean, let me understand, how did you get mixed up with this crew?
So
As if to be like, these could possibly all be some siblings, but you clearly are a little...
Yeah, I took note of that part because I just was like, this is so uncomfortable.
Yes, it is.
And I wasn't under the impression that the rest of those kids were related. Like, the girls kind of looked alike, and
the older boy
two of the
looked like-
boys had red
yeah.
hair. But I didn't know that 6 of them were supposed to be related, and then there was String Bean.
Well, yeah, because he just found that.
But it was really funny how she did. She kind of, not cornered him, but was just kind of like, now, String Bean, how did you come to be with these kids? And his explanation is like, I don't know, my parents died and they adopted me. And that's good enough for her.
Yeah, she's just like, oh, let me write a song about
no
it.
further
Here it goes.
questions. Like,
Oh,
she does. There is one kid that
Jake.
doesn't like her.
yes, the oldest boy, Jake.
Suspicious,
Who's,
yes.
Yeah.
And this movie to me felt like a vehicle for Jake's rocket to stardom. Did it feel like that to you? Like
It
they
felt
were
like
like,
it
this
could
kid's
have been.
great.
Yeah.
This is gonna be like his big break. I looked him up. He didn't.
He's gonna be the next Stephen Dorff, is what they wanted.
That's right. But he leaves at one point. I had to write this down and I had to go back and listen to this again and again because I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
Uh-huh.
He leaves and is angry, and she goes out on the porch with a guitar and starts like trying to play a song. And the lyrics to this song are, "It could have been murder, but it could have been worse." And then she's not happy with those lyrics and sings other ones as he's listening, which I went back and I listened because
I don't remember that, but that's awesome.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing, and it's clear as day that's what she says.
That is awesome. Yeah, her songwriting in this.
And I thought this was going to be a musical because this was like 25 minutes into this movie.
Right.
And this was the first song that we've heard other than at the very start. So,
right, the video.
I mean, but from here on out, there's a lot of music.
I mean, she's got to sing to the children. They're in a mountain home, and a Smokey mountain home at that.
Yeah.
She also plays games with them. She has a genuine jolly dolly.
She tells
good
some
time.
jokes about skinning rabbits, which I thought was oddly inappropriate.
Faster than a zipper or something like that, her granny used to tell her.
Oh, everything is so country, southern fried, hoo-ha, goofy. It's like watching a tamer version of Hee Haw at some points.
The tamer Christmas version.
Right.
Aren't we? We're introduced to Mountain Dan here, right? Played
because
by Lee Majors.
They're doing a Secret Santa, which I think is strange that she...
The kids are?
Yeah, remember they're like pulling names out of a hat. So they pull each other's names out of hats and stuff.
Right.
And I'm assuming she's setting them up for a Secret Santa, which never happens, so it doesn't matter. But then the kids start freaking out because there's something outside.
And it's they call him Mountain Dan, right? It's a man on a horse.
Yep.
Essentially,
Mountain Man Dan.
He is Lee Majors, and essentially he's just like, he's kind of protecting them. Later on, we find that he's like, I'm not sure. Is he like a local lawyer?
I don't know.
But he lives up in the mountains. But he was like a city man, but he hates the city, so he lives up in the mountains and basically rides a horse. And he does have a home because later on,
his character is just every time he's on screen, something else more bizarre is revealed about his character.
That you're like, did you guys really think this guy out?
No, they just wrote him as they went.
Yes.
And Lee Majors seems to not understand what his character is either, because he does not know what's going on in this movie.
I think he thinks he's just supposed to ride in and swoop Dolly off his feet, and by golly, he does.
He does, yes.
Point,
Everybody else, like Dolly Parton knows what's going on. Dan Hedaya, for as bizarre as his paparazzi character is, he's having a great time.
Yep.
I don't know. Lee Majors just seems...
bored,
uncomfortable, and just confused by everything that's happening around him.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of mountain magic around him, and even though he is in it, he's Although he does save her at some point. So this is our first introduction to him, is when the kids are startled by him. But do we see him then? I don't feel like we really see him then. No, we don't,
because she then comforts the kids,
right?
And there's a lot in this cabin at the very beginning, just establishing her relationship to these kids. Like, I don't know how much time has passed, but I liked it because at one point I was wondering, whose bed did she take? Because every time you see her, she's in a bed.
Yes.
The one littlest girl is sleeping in a drawer inside of like a cabinet. Did you notice it was just a drawer pulled out of a cabinet laying on the ground?
Yes, you do feel like, geez, Dolly, you came in and you took these kids' comfiest spot to sleep in.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, later she helps the one make a little room for herself, which is basically, and I guess this is, cabin living. She makes a room by just hanging a curtain up from a,
Right. I mean, she makes a room a la Brady Bunch, Who's the Boss, and It Happened One Night style, which is you just have like a clothesline and you throw a sheet over it. But yes.
So But
I don't know how big this cabin is. Like when the kids are seen sleeping,
there's a loft. Somebody goes upstairs.
Of one another.
Yeah.
Right. The loft kind of looks like a fort. They almost have like garland hanging from it and stuff. Yeah.
And Dolly though has like a king size bed in the middle of the whole, all to herself and her hair. But she does, just because she sleeps better than the kids doesn't mean she doesn't care about them. Because the one little girl is like sneezing and coughing a lot in the beginning, right? And so it turns out she's sick and she has to go to the town doctor.
Oh, this is so great. This is the part in the movie. Until this part in the movie, I was sitting there going, I don't know. I mean, this is weird. This is okay. But at this point, it just picks up. And from here on in, I was just glued. I was like, I got to watch everything that happens. Because this guy is a veterinarian, pediatrician. I assume he treats adults as well. And at one point, he makes a joke because he is also a veteran.
Yes. He says, I'm also a veteran. I fought in the war. Oh, yes. There's nothing worse than an unhappy duck. He says that at one point because all these, like, oh, yeah. There's kids that need to be seen, but there's kids with their ducks that need to be seen by him. And, of course, there's Dolly, and she calls her daughter.
Right.
But it's really this child she's stumbled upon.
She does weasel a lollipop out of the doctor, too.
Yeah, which was a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Here you go, little girl. And she's like, what about mine? And then she flashes him a smile and he gives her a lollipop.
Wouldn't you give Dolly a lollipop
of
if
course.
She asked for it? Yes, absolutely. Oh, and then he's got his bow tie. The vet has the bow tie that glows.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah. Oh,
is
yeah.
It his that is like a weird glowing? Yeah.
Yeah, and again, she runs into that cop and lies to him again.
Yes.
That the girl is hers. And I enjoyed this lie, too, because he tries to call her out on it, and he says, I don't remember seeing a girl in the truck. And she's like, oh, she was asleep in the back with a bunch of junk. I'm like, that seems extremely dangerous. You do not tell a police officer you had a little girl asleep in the bed of your truck in the winter.
With some junk on it.
With junk just piled on her.
That's how the mountains do it. I'm telling you, it wouldn't matter.
But he falls for it.
Yeah, he takes
falls
it in.
For it, and that's that.
He even makes the comment how they don't look alike. You really don't look like your mom. I mean, she's gorgeous, and you're just a ratty little kid.
You're just gutter trash.
Oh, but now we know how much Dolly cares for these children because she's clearly taking them to the doctors and playing with them and singing with them. And now we see the paparazzi guy. What is his name in this movie? Harry. That's right, Harry. Harry has found his way to the Smokies.
Right, he goes to a bar.
Right, he's at the bar, and he's trying to find and track down Dolly. Isn't this where Jezebel makes another appearance? Right, she makes another appearance in this bar. She walks. All of a sudden, the bar wind blows through the bar, and glasses break, and it's Jezebel. Why does she come? Just because the sheriff is there?
Sheriff again.
Yeah. Okay.
She's got nothing better to do. She has magical powers. She could be doing so much else, but she loves this sheriff.
She's like stalking the sheriff and just,
And nobody thinks this
ridiculous.
is weird. She walks in, all the glasses tip. Everything tilts almost to a 45-degree angle when she walks in. Then she later points and all the glasses shatter. Nobody thinks this is weird.
Nope, they just are like, that's Jezebel.
She walks away. Yeah, she leaves and the bartender's like, I should use plastic.
Maybe she does it often, whenever the sheriff's in town having a drink, a midday.
I guess so. I also like that Harry orders a root beer. And the bartender's like, I don't even know if we have one of those. And he goes, oh, here's one. And he has to blow a bunch of dust off of the top of it.
Yeah.
She's oddly obsessed with this sheriff, and I just don't understand. I don't know. You don't need to explain her motives because
I'm not gonna.
Sense.
I just think that we have a witch in this movie. I mean, it only, I guess, helped. This is when Jezebel appears and has Dolly follow her, right?
That's right.
Like, come with me, and she puts her kind of under a spell where she kind of makes Dolly like almost fall off a cliff or something.
This is, and you talked about Dolly's acting maybe not being great, and she says nothing throughout this scene, and it's probably her worst performance. Being hypnotized. The camera angles are weird too because we're getting these really strange like angles where we're on the ground and then there's POV shots of like the Jezebel like calling
her over.
Oh, come on! Yeah, and she wants to get her to walk off a cliff,
and she almost does.
No, but she's saved.
Mountain Dan or Lee Majors comes in and saves her.
Right.
And takes her home.
Well, we're by a fire. We're just instantly by a fire.
Yes.
I guess in the woods.
Yes, where they have a nice little conversation, and she's not at all scared that she's now in the woods. She's happy that
she's also not scared when she should be. Ladies, there's a great lesson in this movie when he says, "Here," and he hands her a cup and goes, "Drink this," and she goes, "Why?" And his reason is, "Because I said so." So, ladies, if you're offered a drink by a strange man and he has no reason for you to drink it, you should drink it. No,
but then she recognizes the drink.
Right.
Doesn't she say she had it from when she was a kid or something? Like so many things are familiar to her. Because she is from this part of town.
That's
She's
right.
even actually familiar with, I think she knows about like the folklore and stuff about the witches. She had just never seen one before. Because he tells her, it was the witch that came for you or
That's
whatever.
Right. Yeah. My grandma, she used to believe in witches so much, she used to wear these funny little pendants around her neck. And then he has them and she's like, oh. It's so great. I love what he says. Who he is. His name's Dan. And she said something about it. She's like, my man Dan? The guy who eats little children and uses their bones as weapons. Her lines are so great. I could watch her in movies all day long, I think.
She is pretty dynamic and entertaining. I'll agree to that. Do you enjoy her music? I have to know.
I don't think I know any of her music.
Her early stuff is really kind of groovy. You should get to know her. You should get to know Dolly.
I'm going to. I'm going to iTunes right now.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, you are.
No, I don't. What does she sing? Like, I'm sure I've heard her more popular stuff, but I don't.
Well, she's got a whole song about well, of course she does the 19. I'm not going to go through her whole discography. Her discography. I'm not going to go through it right now.
All right, okay.
But I take my word for it. Her early stuff. I mean, I kind of dig it.
Well, I'm very interested in it because does she sing the way she talks? Because I would listen to that. Like if she did a William Shatner spoken word album,
it's not quite spoken word.
I would listen to that in a heartbeat.
It's not quite that.
Oh, all right.
But I think you should explore it, since I feel like you're exploring Dolly in a whole new way after Smoky Mountain Christmas.
I feel like I've never really paid much attention to Dolly Parton before this, and I feel like I'm missing out. I know, I feel like I only saw her in 9 to 5, and
Still Magnolias?
I haven't.
I guess you wouldn't see it, yeah.
Oh, no, I've seen that movie several times.
And then there's, what's the other one? Isn't she in one with, not Burt Reynolds?
She's in she is.
Yeah.
The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, right?
And there's isn't she in one with Stallone?
Right. She's in a movie with Stallone where she makes a bet to turn the next person she sees into a country music star, and it's Sylvester Stallone. That's a movie I want to watch now.
I think that's an 80s movie. I think that totally fits.
She and Stallone. I mean, can we set an over-under number on the amount of robots in that movie? I'd be upset if there aren't at least 2.5 robots.
Oh, put it on the list. Okay, let's get back to the mountains.
I'm sorry.
In it. It's okay.
She does find out that Mountain Man Dan has been visiting and I guess keeping an eye on the kids.
Yeah. They're scared of him. They think that he's going to eat them and use their bones as weapons. But he's actually concerned for them and watches over them and is just a little reserved about meeting them. Because she tell him like that he should meet them and he's like, no.
Why doesn't he just knock on the door and say, I am Dan? You kids can have this cabin. Apparently, he has no problem with anything that's going on. He just wants to make sure that, I guess, Jezebel doesn't get to them?
I don't even know if
he never really says that.
Jezebel's not interested in them, from what you can see. There is no interest that she has.
But he wears a necklace to keep witches away from him, so he's aware that there's evil in the Smoky Mountains.
If you're in the Smokies, you're just aware. It's mountain folk. What are you going to do? So the paparazzi guy, who we know, he's kind of got this New York kind of, because of who he is, but he's from L.A., and he is trying to get a rental car or some kind of car up the mountain, and he ends up getting himself a donkey. He rides a donkey up the mountain, which is kind of just goofy and hilarious to see. But so yeah, he's on the trail and getting closer and closer to Dolly. Yeah. Meantime, I was going to call him Lieutenant Dan, but he's not. He's
Mountain Man, Lieutenant Dan.
Mountain Dan comes with a fruitcake to Dolly and the kids to
the kids
warm
turn
him
a
up.
gun on him. The kids hold him at gunpoint until he shows them that he has a fruitcake.
These are some brave kids, but they're mountain kids and they're orphans, so they're brave. And yes, they're convinced by Dolly and by Dan that he's a good guy, and they stay and they sing a beautiful Christmas song and
they
Christmas
sing
decorations.
The Christmas song is called A Smoky Mountain
it's
Christmas.
It's the titular
what would you
song.
Call that? Yes.
It's the titular.
All right. Yes. And they decorate the whole cabin. It's a real good time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a holly jolly, merry, very Christmas time in the mountains. And Dan,
this is when Dan confesses that he's from the big city.
Yes.
And what big city? Would you care to guess? Because it's never explained. Like, I don't know if he's literally from New York, or is he from
I'm assuming he needs like the big Tennessee city.
Right. That's what I wasn't sure.
Maybe be Nashville or maybe Knoxville or like Gatlinburg. I don't know
Look at you throwing local geography on us.
I mean, I'll throw down. I know my state, my newfound state. I'm assuming the city is I want to say Nashville was the biggest thing that they had, but he's a local city or is a city lawyer, right?
Well, we find out later he's a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
He just mentions to her that he's from the big city.
Right.
So we also see that there's more of a connection there.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just mountain folk, but they're mountain/city folk.
Yes.
That have found
and they
each other.
both wanted to, because he's in the mountains because to get away from the crazy city, and so is she. This is our Jezebel once again returns and curses the donkey, right? Doesn't she?
She threatens the paparazzi for no reason, really.
Because he's somehow connected to Dolly. She just has a thing against
so
Dolly.
Chopped up and confusing to me. It's almost as though they weren't on camera together. It kept cutting back and forth between Jezebel and Dan Hedaya, and he's praying to God to find a cabin.
Yes.
And then she bucks his horse off. He's on the ground and gets up and again prays and says, "Just get me out of this. Just let me find a..." And then a cabin is revealed to him. Mm-hmm. But then Jezebel's suddenly gone. Like, it's such a weird, abrupt shift, and I just didn't know what was happening at that point.
I think it's so that he's introduced to Jezebel, and then he's also, the cabin he finds is Dan's cabin.
Right, yes. I thought he found Dolly and the kids.
Yes, that's what I thought, too.
And
but
Dan threatens to shoot him,
At first, for just knocking on the door.
He knocks on the door, and all you hear is, "I got a gun."
Yep, because I guess, you're living up there and it's a shady guy coming to your door and
can we say it's not the first time or it's not the last time in this movie that somebody knocks on a door and later on two ladies go, "Get the gun."
This is true.
I can't wait to get to that point. I can't wait to keep talking about this movie.
So in the cabin with Dan, Dan's got a very wilderness-like cabin, I guess. It's very decorated like a mountain man's cabin would be. And they eat muskrat soup together, which is pretty funny. As Harry is munching down the soup, he's like, "This is delicious." And then it's revealed to him.
That's pretty much it. Like, it almost feels like anytime Lee Majors was on screen, they're like, "We can just cut this. Like, we're good. Nothing's really happening here.
We just needed him to be seen. Yeah, Dolly's
let's get back to Dolly or Jezebel.
Is she gonna? Yeah, exactly. The kids now really they propose to Dolly that she become their mom.
They proposition
her. They do. Yeah. They think that she would make. They've all talked about it, and
they voted.
Yeah,
they literally say, "We have voted
unanimously." Mm-hmm. Even Jake, the one who didn't like her at first, all think she's going to make the perfect mom, and she's realistic about it because she loves them and she's grown very, very close to them. But it's a lot harder. A lot more complicated than that.
Well, she even says, she's like, I can't make those decisions. Judges make those decisions. And the kids are really bummed out by this. And Jake storms off. He's done.
He's tired of being left, and now she's going to leave him, and really, I would be, yeah.
Then we have what is called a dramatic shift in tone in this movie.
Yes.
Because the cops show up. Did I black out for a little bit? Because this cop went from playful to sadistic in no time.
Yes.
I mean, he's there holding children at gunpoint.
Yeah.
He's there to arrest everyone, even a 4-year-old.
Yes, and he makes some weird comments to the...
He threatens Dolly Parton. Like, at first I was like, maybe he's possessed by the witch. No, that's not the case.
No, he's had enough of this being lied to.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's like Henry Winkler once was like, dude, you gotta amp this shit up.
Yeah.
Like, the audience does not hate you. Forget about those scenes. They're already shot. That's in the can.
Right.
We can't go back and change that. Just suddenly be mean. Suddenly be a horrible character if you could do that.
And he does to arrest
because there's no justification for this.
Except
but he knows who she is all of a sudden too.
Well, I think he knew all along. To be fair,
well,
I do think
suspicious.
he knew all along.
Yes.
But he's been looking for these kids for a while, and he has had it.
She lightly slaps his badge, and he's like, "Oh, assaulting an officer! You're in trouble now." Later, she punches him, which is great. Like, I guess then it's justified, but that's when I kind of watched this and went, "What is happening in this movie?"
The dramatic twist. You're absolutely right. She gets arrested, and the kids they're not arrested. They are sent to the Applegate sisters.
As the Deputy Doofus, or whatever he is.
Oh, yes.
As he's rounding up kids, I also noticed that he quotes a line from Cool Hand Luke where he goes, "What we got here is a failure to communicate."
To one of the kids, right?
And again, I was like, where is this coming from? This movie has completely changed from what we saw 5 minutes ago.
Yes. So now we're having like a bust-in, breakdown, grab the fugitives and get them out. Yep. Yeah. And what we have now is Dolly in a sad, sad jail cell. On Christmas Day, mind you. This all goes down on Christmas Day? Or Christmas Eve?
I think it's Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. Yes, it is Christmas Eve.
And we are now back to a Dolly sort of voiceover moment.
Yes.
When the kids go
when she's telling
to the orphanage. And I do like how she says, these women, I was going to do... I missed my Dolly accent.
Come on, bring it back.
These women who run the orphanage... There was only one problem, is that they don't like kids. I was like, what? That's a great line. Like, so yeah, they're taken to the orphanage. And Dolly's locked up in a jail cell wearing a red cape.
Because they were having their Christmas right before, right? Weren't they having their little Christmas festivities, and then they all got arrested?
Yes.
And now the witch is back in. Now we're back to Jezebel in her
dungeon.
Witch's lair, and she is making a spell and using frogs and blood juice and boiling things in her cauldron. Yeah.
She literally has a cauldron and ladles out blood juice and puts it in a pie.
Yes. Puts it in an open-faced apple pie, basically. Apple, I think she calls it apple or cherry. I don't know.
Again, at this point, I'm watching this going, where
is this coming from? Yeah, exactly.
Did Dolly pitch this to somebody? Because it's genius if she did.
I would love it. I would love to have been there.
Dolly, if you're listening, please make more movies. You don't need to be in them. Like, I totally get it.
No.
But write down a shitload of nonsense, like on a few Post-it notes, and give it to somebody to make.
Let's get
this
them
is
done.
amazing. So, Jake is... He was the only kid that wasn't taken.
That's right. He was not. The oldest boy was not taken.
So then he is with Harry, the paparazzi
guy.
And Dan the Mountain Man. So
Lee Majors,
the three of them decide to try and break the kids out
of the orphanage, right?
Yes,
right. That's their plan,
right? And Dan Hedaya decides to pretend that he is from, he's a child welfare inspector.
Yeah. He does he's like, I got this, but he really doesn't. He really bombs, right?
He doesn't. But again, this is a weird scene too, because he goes in and the ladies are like, I don't believe you. Cut to him back there, and he has all the information they need. He's tomorrow people are coming to take these kids away. I'm like, well, wait, these women didn't believe it. Like, when did you get this information?
I don't even know. You know what? That all happened so quickly. I thought, like, did he sneak a file out or something?
I have no idea. But it's also great because when he goes to the house, like, the shot is of he and Jake and Dan sitting, like, on the steps of, I don't know, like a bar or something like that. And he walks out of frame to go to this house. Then he's in the house with these ladies. The next scene is him backing into frame again to tell them that he was just in this house. And I just thought it was the craziest editing I've ever seen.
Well, next is the she doesn't die yet. No, not yet.
The deputy or the sheriff, he's kind of like, he's threatening Dolly Parton.
Yes.
Like, he's taunting her when she's locked up, and she says, you take one more step and you'll get your Christmas punch early. Yeah. I did like that.
She did have some good lines like that. Some good old, yeah.
But I think some of it was ad-libbed, because after that he goes, oh, I'll be right back. And she goes, oh, whoop-de-doo. I could watch Dolly Parton.
I think your imitations, I could listen to you imitate. I wish you did this whole podcast with your Dolly Parton voice.
Maybe it'll be a special episode where I just do the whole movie.
I love it.
You
just
do
line by line. I love it.
I
love it. So he leaves her in the jail cell after, taunting her. And
he leaves an old woman alone in the police station.
The old lady. Yeah, there's she's allegedly an old lady. She's really the witch. Disguised as an old lady. And she tells him about, like, when she comes to the sheriff, she tells him about his votes or something like that to get him to go check something out. She just wants him out of the jail, essentially, so that she can have some one-on-one time with Dolly. And she gets back there, and she slips Dolly the pie, but she puts the pie totally sideways and through the bars of the jail.
Insane.
Because Dolly's like, well, how am I going to eat it? And she's like, well, I'll just squeeze it in. And does, and there's no spillage, it's no sloppy, whatever. It's the fakest pie I've ever seen.
No problem. Literally was not thought about before that scene occurred, how they were going to do this. It was not discussed at all, and they got to set, and then they went, oh no, what's she going to do with this pie?
The whole pie, right through. And she doesn't have a fork. She's like, well, this looks delicious, but how am I going to eat it? And does she just start eating it with her face?
I have no idea.
She never gets a fork or anything.
Like a pie eating contest? I don't think so. I don't remember.
Because she makes a comment that she can't eat it, but then she does.
Yeah, I feel like the old woman probably gave her a fork. Like, she's planning on murdering Dolly Parton. She's going to bring her a fork.
She wants her to be comfortable about it. True. I guess that's true. So Dolly eats the pie and
she dies. She dies.
She gets so sleepy. Why? She's so sleepy. And then, she falls.
What did she do? Like, she gets suspicious the moment before she dies, I guess.
No, she takes a bite, and while she's chewing it, she's like, it just has got such a funny taste.
Yeah, it's a blood pie, Dolly.
Yeah. There's like rat tails in it, Dolly. There is no sweet fruit in there. And she didn't even give you ice cream.
No, she put frogs in that cauldron.
Yeah, it's gross. And then it's like, rah, rah, rah. So, and then she becomes the witch again, right? Doesn't she turn back into the witch?
I think so. I don't remember, but she leaves, basically.
Yeah. And it's like, I gotcha, blah, blah, blah.
I murdered this poor woman that I just met for absolutely no reason.
And the weird thing is, the witch, it's nothing to do with the kids. It has nothing to do with, like, Dolly wanting, it's not like Dolly wants to take over the town.
She has no connection to these kids. It's like 3 plot lines going on at once.
Yeah.
And the one where Dolly Parton was kidnapped in L.A. is dropped because
Gone.
I assume that would be another 45 minutes tacked onto this movie if they had explored
If they had to, right. And, back at the orphanage, it's a very... they don't get the kids out, don't they? Yeah.
So they decide to break Dolly out.
Yes. So they break the wall, right? Don't they bust?
Yeah, they hook like ropes up to the jail cell, like bars on the window, which is stupid because there's no cops in the police station. They could just walk right in.
Bust her out.
But they pull down the entire wall. I kind of forget how they do that. Do they do it with the car, or do they do it with the sleigh?
The horses, maybe? No, they don't have the sleigh yet. Because isn't it Dolly's idea to get the sleigh?
I don't even know. So much was happening at this point in the movie. It was all over the place.
Well, somehow they bust a giant hole in the wall.
I think I was just grinning ear to ear and wasn't even paying attention to what was
happening. Well, now you're like, someone's got to bring her back to life. Dolly is knocked out, and they knock the wall out, and then they see her, and they're kind of upset, but they're more like in shock. Like, she's dead. She's dead.
Right.
Like, and they're like, what are we going to do? And doesn't the paparazzi, Harry looks at them and he's like, I don't know, like maybe kiss her.
Yeah,
and
he says something like, well, go for it, Romeo.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And he kisses her, but the kiss doesn't work. Like, and they're like, they're kind of like I said, they're not really sad. They're just like, fuck, what do we do now?
Yeah, it's like, well, something's got to work. She can't be dead. No, she could be dead. Like, there's a really good chance
the witch made her eat that pie, y'all. The witch made her eat the pie. Yeah. But then Jake, the boy, starts crying.
Only the tears of a homeless youth.
Tears? What?
It's so great. The tears like fall on her face.
Yes.
It's very graphic. But yeah, and then she kind of blinks and wakes up, and that's that. And then there's hugs all around. She doesn't seem concerned that the creeper that was taking pictures of her in her house is suddenly there.
He's now like he's like that one Hobbit kid or Hobbit guy in the Labyrinth. Like, he was against her at first, and now he's like, you know what? I'm on your side. I'm in it to win it.
Yeah, I was really waiting for him to like have one final betrayal.
No, but I think it's because he made amends. Remember when he asked to find the cabin and he prayed to find it? He was like, I promise I'll never lie or do anything bad.
But you don't anticipate something like that.
It's a TV movie.
Well, I'm just saying you don't anticipate something like that happening halfway through. Like, that should be something that happens near the end.
Well, he is all for this crew. And before they break the kids out, so now...
Yeah, they walk outside and the witch is still there.
Yeah, Jezebel is back and she can't believe. And she's so angry and so upset. And the trick...
The solution is lazy screenwriting. Which is, the pie was delicious. I love the pie. Oh boy, I just wish you could taste this pie for yourself. I like it when she says something like, and I love this pie, and I've been talking to them about it, and it flashes to them, and they're just going, oh yeah. And Dana Day is like, she wouldn't shut up about it. They trick Jezebel into
trying her own pie. She eats her own pie. True story. And now can't she just shoot her or something? Like, well, how can you be tricked into eating your own poison pie? Well, and who gets tricked with the whole, you ought to try it? And she's like, wait a minute, there's something missing? How could there be something missing? Right. I'm going to eat it. And now she falls asleep and she's done. And now that they've got the witch out of the way and Dolly's alive and she's out of jail, now we've got to save those kids. Yeah, Dolly basically just killed a woman, and now it's time to go rescue the kids. She's been put into a very, very deep sleep, which later on when the sheriff sees she's asleep, he's like, we're not waking that one up. Right, yeah, he tells his deputy, Dum-Dum, he's like, and whatever you do, don't wake her up. Yeah. And that's when I was like, oh, he's not even under her spell. He's just suddenly a dick for no reason. Well. So they go to rescue the kids, and
they have an interesting plan, let's say.
I don't even know where the plan comes from. Earlier in the movie when she goes into town, and we forgot to mention, when she goes into town with a little girl who is sick, there's the display, like the Santa and his sleigh display, and they rub Santa's beard, which is kind of a weird thing. Remember, she's like, come on and rub Santa's beard.
I heard, when I was a little girl, I always heard you rub Santa's beard for good luck. No, that's not a thing, Dolly. You just wrote that for some reason.
Well, so it's like the bright idea that goes off. Like, there's the Santa sleigh display. Let's get it. That'll help us break into the orphanage. And Lee Majors, right, dresses as Santa.
Yes.
And the paparazzi guy sells Dolly to the orphanage as like, hey, these kids, she's in town, she wants to sing for them, let her in and sing. And the ladies, the Anderson sisters, first of all, you're right, they answer the door with a gun, right? Is this? No.
They do. They're playing Scrabble. Yeah. And they argue about Scrabble, and then there's a knock at the door, and they just look at each other like, get the gun. Just very matter-of-factly.
Well, it's what you do. Who's coming on Christmas Eve to come knock at the door? And when they make this offer for Dolly to sing for the kids, they're like only one at a time. They can only sing for each child one at a time. You can't sing it in a group. So that throws a little bit of a wrench.
No, I do like how they're selling her as a big recording artist, and the sisters are like, we never heard of her.
Yeah. But it didn't matter. They let them in. So and Santa is with them. And they convinced them to let them in. But the trick is it's only the one at a time thing. So that gets a little crazy. So then all of a sudden they start just like polka dancing kind of. Isn't that like their cover to take over? Like as they're bringing the kids out one by one and they realize, all right, we got to do something to distract these sisters and get the kids out.
They basically, the two men, Mountain Man Dan and the paparazzi, basically assault these two women.
A little bit. There's some pushing and shoving. Yeah.
There is. Yeah. And they push them in a room. They lock them in a room and then break the kids out.
Yes.
It's not their plan. Like, they're making this up as they go.
There really is no plan. There really is no plan other than put these things on, go inside, and then we'll figure it out once we're inside.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Like this movie. There's no plan. No. It's just there's stuff happening, and we'll figure out what happens in the next scene when we shoot it.
And that's... and now, although our next appearance, our next... actor appearance in this movie is pretty good. Okay, so now they all get arrested again, right? Or they all get in big trouble again.
The cops, yes.
Yeah, because this is all trouble, big trouble up. And believe it or not, even on Christmas Day morning, the judge comes to court, and our judge, what a fine performance.
It's John Ritter.
Yes,
I was so happy.
I was too. It was a pleasure to see.
It's odd because people, this sounds weird, people die all the time. Famous people die all the time.
Sure.
And I really don't have much of a reaction. It was really sad when John Ritter died. And I was never a big fan of...
Three's Company? No?
No. I knew it was on. I had seen it.
But he's just likable.
He's just a likable guy, yes.
Yeah. And he plays sort of a jokey...
he plays a Judge Harry from Night Court, really.
Yeah. I mean, I like when he says something at the end, like, watch him sit down, kids. Here he goes.
Oh, it's so great.
He's gonna sit on the chair. And yeah, he does a really great, it's really fun to kind of watch him. And so they're in court and the kids, Dolly wants custody of the kids. The kids want Dolly and
hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Because this judge makes a bunch of decisions.
Oh, true.
He pretty much fires the sheriff.
Yeah.
Then makes him shut up and sit down.
Yeah.
And then, as you said, as he's sitting down, he's like, is he gonna? Look at him go. Look at him. He's almost there, kids. And I love it how when he sits down, one of the kids makes a farting noise.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is great. And he also, in the same night, probably within 5 minutes of that, takes the orphanage away from those two women, too.
Oh, yeah,
he tells them that they can't run an orphanage.
They can't run their
anymore.
orphanage. He just, you know what? He lays the smacketh downeth.
It's almost as though he knew all of this stuff had been going on for so long. It's just nobody made a formal complaint until Dolly Parton.
Almost as though it's like early in the morning on Christmas morning,
right.
and he's just like, all of you, here's the thing. Mrr, you know,
he's like, how the hell do I get this finished as soon as possible? Get back to my family. I know, I'll fire the shit out of everybody and dump these kids onto these dum-dums. It's so great, and he's so fun in the role.
Yeah, he is. He really is.
This is when we do find out that Mountain Man Dan is a lawyer, which comes to nothing because he really doesn't do anything. I mean, he
just makes a statement. He makes some kind of statement.
No heated argument. There's no lawyer skill involved in this. It's just another thing that is brought to our attention as the audience where we go
to let us know.
What?
Well, now here we are at the magical ending. Dolly gets the kids. The witch is dead. Ding dong. The witch is dead. The town has been, the sheriff is out of town. There's a new sheriff in town. It's the dumb deputy, I think, steps up into place, and all ends just magically and happily.
It does. They this is the only bit where we get like sort of Christmassy stuff, because there is a montage of them, I guess, getting ready in the cabin for like to eat Christmas, and like the one little girl's praying. And at the end, they decide to have a family photo taken, I guess.
Why wouldn't you?
And I love
they're a new family.
I love how the paparazzi, because we got to use his camera, he sets it up on a timer so he can get in the shot.
He can get in it. He's part of the family. He brought them together.
I assume John Ritter also allowed him to become adopted.
Yeah,
by them.
Absolutely. He's the uncle. I think at one point he hugs one of the kids and is like, "I'm your Uncle Harry."
Oh my God.
Well, is this when you cried? Did you cry at this part?
I did not.
Yeah. Okay.
I did not. Although I was just, my mouth was agape through the whole thing. So I don't think I processed what I was seeing until about an hour and a half after this movie was over.
Gotcha. And then you're like, what? I just...
Right. So let's have it. What is your final thought on this? Would you recommend people watch this movie if they haven't already, which I already told them to, but let's say they haven't watched it yet and they listened to us.
Okay. Well, then I would think.
Let's say you met a stranger on the street. They hadn't heard this podcast.
On the streets of Tennessee, honestly, if first of all, if I was a child, especially an orphan child, I would highly recommend this movie.
You don't think this is giving a kid false hope?
Well, I think especially at the Christmas time, you need that false hope. You want to believe that could happen. So I had wished that I had seen it when I came out, because I think I would have really been like, I probably would have moved to Tennessee earlier in my life, tried out the Smoky Mountains sooner.
That's a strong endorsement for this movie.
Yeah. But now I watched the movie with my father and who was visiting, and my husband.
Yes.
And both of whom were completely, I'm going to say they were bored out of their mind. I think my husband fell asleep twice, and he had seen the movie before. So clearly, it's not for everyone. But I will say that I really did. I mean, I found it enjoyable. I found it like a fun Christmas movie that, not for everyone's Christmas movie repertoire, but I liked it. Would I recommend it to everyone, all people? Well, maybe not everyone's cup of Dolly, but I will tell you, if you enjoy Dolly,
I don't know if we're recommending the movies on here to everyone on planet Earth.
Yeah.
But generally, you would?
I would. I would say I liked it. And yourself?
I would. There is no doubt.
No doubt. There's no doubt.
I had so much fun watching this movie because I didn't know what I was going to see, and at every turn, I was just amazed that this movie was made.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That this movie was shown.
Yeah.
It was so crazy. And again, Dolly Parton's just super adorable.
Yeah.
It's just
very likable.
The twists and turns of this movie made it worthwhile. The fact that it's...
The twists and turns? You mean the witch?
And I don't want to overhype this. I mean... I really don't.
Turns. It's so intense.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
No, it was highly enjoyable. I thought it was super crazy.
It's very fun.
I could see showing this to my kids and them having a really good time with it.
It was, I agree. It was a lot of fun. And again, especially if I was from Tennessee and if I was a Dolly Parton fan, it is a must see. And if you just want some like good, clean, just Christmas fun with a little goofy twist and, like you said, I found Dolly just enjoyable to watch the whole time.
I can't. Boy, I'm really going on about this. I cannot overstate my recommendation for this movie. Like, literally, it starts with sweaty guys in tank tops dancing around carrying Dolly Parton to a terrible country song. And there's witches. There's a sheriff who becomes unbelievably evil for no reason.
There's orphan children. There are 7 orphaned children who are adorable.
By the time John Ritter showed up, I was just so on board with this. I was like, this could go on for another half hour, and I would easily watch this.
Do we have a part 2? Because I'm ready. I'm ready to see the judge help the kids get raised, and I'm ready to see it all happen. What are your recommendations then? Do you just recommend watching it again?
I have one recommendation. I tried to choose something that I thought was a little bit different. I actually tried to research movies that were like took place in the Smoky Mountains. Nothing really came up. So I decided to go with a movie that takes place basically in a cabin.
Okay.
And I chose, and I don't know if you've seen this, did you see the movie Tucker and Dale versus Evil?
No.
Oh.
No.
It's on Netflix, and it's very popular. I think a lot of people saw it because it is a lot of fun. It's basically these 2 country bumpkins.
Tucker and Dale?
Yes. Go into the woods to, like, restore this old cabin, and they're just beer-swilling dummies.
Okay.
But also at the same time, this group of teenagers goes into the woods, and for some reason, I kind of forget why, but they mistake these guys for, like, serial killers. So they decide to take them on.
Oh.
And one by one, like, the violence is cartoonish and insane, but one by one, these guys, Tucker and Dale, accidentally end up killing these teenagers, which then sort of fuels the other teenagers to realize that these guys really are serial killers, but they're not. It's very funny. Like, one scene that describes it perfectly is this guy is throwing branches into a wood chipper, and one of the teenagers like runs at him to tackle him, and he ducks down to get a branch. So this teenager flies into the wood chipper, and he kind of gets up and goes, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" Because they think the teenagers have a weird suicide pact. So then he grabs this guy's legs and tries to pull him out. And at this point, the other teenagers look over, and it looks like he's shoving him into a wood chipper. Oh. It's really funny. It's super campy, but it's worth seeing.
I love it.
So,
yeah. All right. Okay. Good recommendation. I like it. Based on geography. I'll take it. I kind of based on plot line. I think.
Oh my God! Please, whatever this movie is, I gotta watch it.
Very loosely based on plot line. And I thought if you want to see a blonde woman who thinks that she has a bunch of kids that don't belong to her, watch the movie Overboard. That's my recommendation. Where Goldie Hawn thinks that 7 sloppy, they're not homeless, but they might as well be because Kurt Russell's their dad, right?
When I talked about a wife beater earlier, that's what Kurt Russell's wearing throughout this entire movie.
So even though it's not Christmas theme, even though it's not Smoky Mountain theme, she is sort of she's got some kind of luscious hair too in the beginning, and then not when she lives with the kids in the sad little place they live. But anyway, Overboard with Goldie Hawn.
Have you seen that recently? I'm wondering how that holds up.
Yeah, I personally, I love it. I've always been an Overboard fan, and I believe it holds up. I believe we could put it on our list for 2016 if it's not completed.
I don't know. Is that 80s?
I feel like it is.
Oh, I thought that was 90s.
I might be wrong.
Write in, audience. Literally,
Right.
write it on a piece of paper, put it in an envelope,
and
send it to us.
mail it on a self-addressed stamped envelope.
So, are we sending back the response? Somebody will send it in and be like, no, that's from 1991. And we'll respond, yep, you're right. And then we'll send it back to you.
Oh.
So I guess that's it. Like, we're kind of done, but I guess we should talk about...
You're not done. You're continuing on your Dolly path. You have found
I know. I'm going to make a whole Dolly playlist. And I mean, like, songs in iTunes as well as films.
Yeah, you need to get into her filmography as well as her discography.
How is this movie not more popular? This movie's crazy. People, this movie's insane.
Well, that's the thing. I think for some,
like, was this movie just too much for people to handle?
I think a little bit. I think that's might have what been. I think when they throw the Jezebel in there, and when you have so much Dolly, you know, it needs a little more tempering.
Or do you think it was just Dolly had the idea, and she's like, I'm very famous. I moved back to Smoky Mountains, and I adopt these kids. And they're like, whoa, hold on. That a movie does not make. We need other shit here. Let's go through these old...
That a movie does not make. That a movie does not make. I don't know that
that's proper English, but it sounded like old English.
I think that I would have loved to be in the pitch meeting with that Dolly. If it was Dolly involved, that to say, we're going to make a Snow White sort of country Christmas, Lee Majors. Oh, and there'll be a judge. I mean, it is a bundle of fun. It's a bundle of Christmas joy.
I got to stop talking about this because we could do this for another hour and a half, no doubt. All right, so 2 weeks from now, though, we are still in the holiday TV movie.
It's a festive time of year.
Movie theme, yes. We're going to stay away from Christmas, though. We're going to go non-denominational with this one, and it is.
But it's got some cheer. It's got some real cheer.
Well, we'll see. Again, I haven't seen any of these.
Okay.
So yeah. I'm very excited about a movie called Babes in Toyland. And
I am excited about
I told my mom, and this is the second episode in a row where I'm talking about my mom. I said to her, I'm like, oh, we're going to do Babes in Toyland. She's like,
right.
I remember watching that when I was a kid. And I'm like, I don't think
No, there was another Babes in Toyland. Yes. Uh-huh. Now, if you're not familiar, here's what I'll drop, because my husband, I have seen Babes in Toyland. I have not seen it in a while, and I watched it like your mom when I was a kid.
All right, you and my mom just curled up on a couch as two young girls,
just watching a very young Drew Barrymore, a young Keanu Reeves, and a lot of giant candy and cookies.
I have seen a couple previews online just because I wanted to see what I would get into.
Oh, yeah.
And if, I mean, there's a chance that this movie is going to make a Smoky Mountain Christmas seem logical.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought it's going to make your mind melt. Yes.
No, there's a good chance of that, too.
Yeah.
But I did watch a clip of Keanu Reeves singing.
Yes, it's a very, very, musical movie. Yeah.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
You better buckle up, buddy.
We need more Keanu Reeves songs in his current films, I think.
I come from Cincinnati, Cincinnati. That's all I'm going to give our audience.
Oh, our audience demands more from you. So next episode. Oh, I was going to say, wow.
I was like, I'm ready.
You were about ready to go. You can just sing. You can sing the outro song next episode. I'll just let you do the Cincinnati song.
I love it.
Start to finish. I don't think there's much to it. I mean, what can you really write about a Cincinnati?
There's not much.
Cincinnati. You know, one of them there Cincinnatis I've been hearing about.
Oh, you are stuck in the South. When are you coming down to visit? See? That's the other thing. I think your next vacation, I know you're thinking about going someplace exotic with your wife. We're going to Dolly World, all of us. Listen, let's face it.
If you can find where they filmed this movie.
Oh.
First of all, I'm sure it was a sound studio or a sound stage.
No. Well,
honestly, clearly that cabin is not a real cabin in the woods. judging by the fact that the camera was never more than 8 feet away from the front door when they showed this, I don't think it was in the woods. But I'm sure a lot of this was shot on location. No, in the mountains of California.
I was going to say Arrowhead. I was thinking Arrowhead, which is kind of the mountains of Los Angeles.
All right, okay.
But, I mean, maybe they were in the Smokies. You know what? I don't know. But you should visit nonetheless. You should make it.
Did you find out any interesting facts about this? Because all I found out was the Paula Abdul thing, but that was good enough. Once I found that out, I was like, shutting down the computer? That's all I needed to know.
No, but that's a great... This is what it's like.
I'm
what
getting
you do.
A great email.
Oh, no. I was trying to look up where it was filmed. I was trying to look up where it was filmed, and it's a weird thing to be.
It does not make for good radio.
No. Sorry.
Click, 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 click.
Never mind. I was trying to give some facts, and they're at my fingertips, but not in my mouth.
We don't need facts about this movie. I would rather imagine how this movie was made. So
then no for reals. All right. I agree.
All right. So everybody, that's it for us this evening. It was a lot of fun. I had way more fun than most people that would probably watch this movie. I'm surprised. You know what? This social experiment that we're doing here, watching movies from the 80s, I'm really surprising myself. The amount of fun I had watching this and Desperately Seeking Susan is shocking to me.
Yes. Kind of revealing in many ways. You're a Madonna Dolly fan that you didn't even know.
Oh my God, did they ever do a duet?
Oh, I don't know, but they should do a little like, I mean,
Madolly?
Madolly. Well said. Well said. Very good. On that, I think
we better.
I think we have to end on Madolly because I don't think you get better than a combo of the two.
Nope. So it's all downhill from here.
So we'll say Madolly Manite Shyamalan.
Yeah,
I was trying to say goodnight.
Madolly Mashamalanan. Mashamalaman.
I was trying to say goodnight and then Moonlight and forget it.
Yeah.
Just
all right. Good night, everybody. That was fun.
Goodbye.
There's a cabin in the piney woods, a winter mountain scene, where the snow is gently falling on the peaceful evergreens. There's a place down deep inside me where I never feel alone, and an ever-present feeling and a voice that calls me home. Country memories keep pulling at my heartstrings. Country memories of a place I left behind, down home feelings that somehow keep me going. Country memories ever present, ever flowing through my mind. Country memories, a patchwork quilt of colors. Country memories of a simple way of life when I go back there. It's like a trip to heaven where there's peace down in the valley and the mountains are alive. Mountain Dan, the wild man of the mountains, who carries a rattlesnake for a whip, that eats little children and uses their bones for weapons.